Within this structure, although the emperor was supreme lord, he could not directly manipulate any one power system for arbitrary rule. State policy required coordination and mutual restraint among the three powers. Essentially, imperial power was embedded within a framework of separation, achieving the constitutional goal of restraining imperial power through institutions, preventing arbitrariness through separation. Deng Xiaonan further demonstrates in Ancestral Institutions that the Northern Song separation was not hastily established by Emperor Taizu alone, but gradually adjusted and solidified into ancestral convention and rigid institution over Taizong, Zhenzong, and Renzong. Its core logic was distributed responsibilities, mutual maintenance, diverse opinions, and defect prevention as priority, with all functional divisions guided by the principle of not allowing one man to monopolize power or one agency to control essentials. Deng Xiaonan, 2006, 123. For example, the Privy Council controlled military roles and orders but not field command. Troop leadership rested with the three imperial guards, forming further layered checks. Privy Council moves troops, three guards hold troops, generals command troops. Euroti. The three financial bureaus controlled national revenue but not fiscal policy, which required joint formulation with Zhongshu. Military expenditure required collective agreement among Zhongshu, Privy Council, and three financial bureaus. No unilateral decision. Zhongshu supervised administration but could not interfere in military appointments or fiscal details. Overstepping led to censorate impeachment and resistance from the other two agencies. More critically, beyond the three separated powers, the Northern Song established a fully independent censorate and remonstrance system, the Yushitai and Jianyuan. CENSORS, and remonstrators were not subordinate to any of the three agencies, theoretically receiving orders directly from the emperor, but dedicated to supervising officials, admonishing the ruler, correcting errors, and impeaching illegality. They formed a fourth constitutional power above the three branches, monitoring both imperial and chancellery authority. They could impeach premiers, privy commissioners, and finance commissioners, reject unconstitutional decisions of the three agencies, expose fiscal fraud, military mismanagement, and administrative injustice. ND directly admonished the emperor for arbitrary edicts. ND unconstitutional appointments. Moreover, the Song ancestral instruction not to execute scholar officials and remonstrators provided absolute protection for censorate supervision, RIGIDLY, upholding the balance of separated powers and preventing collusion or dominance by any single branch. Institutional historians including Zhu Zongbing and Zhao Dongmei emphasized that the Northern Song combination of separated powers and censorate supervision formed a closed-loop power restraint system. SEPARATION as foundation, BALANCE as method, PROCEDURE as guarantee, CENSORS as correction. The emperor occupied the position of a figurehead who reigned but did not rule. A BIDING by separation conventions and maintaining institutional operation rather than standing above institutions. Zhao Dongmei clearly argues in The Transformation of the Great Song that the fundamental reason for a century of early Northern Song political stability, ordered monarchy, and clean governance lay in the effective operation of this separation system. It prevented power concentration, blocked private will, and made arbitrariness impossible. It was the most concrete institutional embodiment of the ancestral institutions principle, that principle is supreme, law above private will. Zhao Dongmei, The Transformation of the Great Song. 2020 p. 62. In short, the separation of powers among Zhongshu, Privy Council, and three financial bureaus was the core pillar of the Northern Song unwritten constitution at the structural level. IT replaced personal autocracy with institutional separation, arbitrary power with procedural balance, and monolithic dictatorship with multi-center coordination. It not only permanently resolved the late Tang and Five Dynasties' political chaos, but also pushed ancient Chinese separated and balanced politics to its apex, becoming traditional China's constitutional practice closest to limited power, institutional governance, and divided authority. 第六节，北宋财政立法的公共协商，三司照商人议法的制度实践与限制意义。Section 6. Public deliberation in Northern Song fiscal legislation. The institutional practice and constitutional significance of the three financial bureaus summoning merchants to consult on laws. The constitutional value of Northern Song politics was reflected not only in central procedure, chancellery checks, veto review, and scholar-official shared rule, but also in the economic legislative sphere, where it exhibited a rare form of public participation, negotiated rulemaking, stakeholder, CO governance, and open legislation in ancient Chinese history. Among these, the institutional convention of the Finance Commissioner summoning small and medium merchants, guild members, shopkeepers, and traders to jointly deliberate fiscal, commercial tax, market exchange, state monopoly, and commodity laws stands as a major practice of profound constitutional significance, closest to modern negotiated legislation and public decision-making in traditional China, and worthy of detailed record. The Northern Song Three financial bureaus, as the supreme fiscal center known as the Budget Ministry, oversaw salt and iron, revenue, and household departments, controlling national taxation, industry and commerce, currency, grain transport, and state monopolies. ITS legislation directly affected national livelihood, market stability, commercial survival, and popular well-being. The uniqueness of Northern Song politics lay in breaking the closed model of court arbitrary legislation, top-down promulgation, forming a stable convention. Legislation must inquire into popular sentiment, rules must consult practitioners, ND legal reform must gather public opinion. This was not an occasional measure, but an institutional practice continuously implemented by multiple finance commissioners, recorded in official histories and compendia. History of the Song, Food and Commerce Records, Song Huyao Jigao, Food and Commerce, extended continuation to the Ziji Tongjian, Wenxian Tongkao, and Longchuan Luji preserve numerous specific cases and names of finance commissioners. 1. Chen Shu, Zhenzong reign. When formulating the tea law, he summoned dozens of tea merchants to the three financial bureaus' hall to present pros and cons item by item. He divided their proposals into three grades, rejecting the upper grade excessive profit, favouring merchants at court expense and the lower grade crude and unworkable, adopting only the middle grade benefiting both public and private, sustainable over time, revising and establishing the three-method system, which operated successfully for years, ensuring commodity circulation and mutual sufficiency. Longchuan Luji explicitly records, when Chen Shu, Duke of Jin, served as finance commissioner and prepared to establish the tea law, he summoned dozens of tea merchants to present the advantages and disadvantages. He graded them into three categories. Only the middle proposal benefited both public and private. I revised it to ensure endurance. R. Li Zi Renzong reign, Tiansheng 1. When reforming the tea law and reorganizing the frontier supply system, he established a special review office and summoned merchants to inquire about advantages and disadvantages, directly hearing practical demands concerning tea salt certificates, inflated rewards, and frontier settlement. He adjusted the cash method and tiershofa to balance official merchant interests and stabilize frontier stores. 3. Wanggongchen and Zhang, Fangping, Renzong reign. When deliberating Hebei salt laws, they summoned Hebei merchants and shopkeepers for face-to-face discussion, hearing popular complaints that state monopoly would raise salt prices and spark widespread smuggling. Zhang Fangping memorialized Emperor Renzong, bluntly stating, Hebei suffers annual levy and diplomatic labor, more burdensome than other regions. IT would be inappropriate to further oppress it through salt monopoly. This led Renzong to issue an edict abolishing Hebei salt monopoly, retaining only salt surtaxes and permitting private trade. 4. Not Ye Qingchen, Shenzong reign, Qingli period. When reorganizing Hebei frontier supply and reviving the 3 and 4 method systems, he summoned merchants and certificate shopkeepers from north and south. Addressing the reality of depreciated certificates, merchant distress, and public-private harm, he adjusted conversion ratios for tea, salt, and spices, stabilizing certificate prices and restoring commercial circulation. In all these cases, finance commissioners formally summoned private practitioners and stakeholders for direct deliberation, inquiring into convenience and inconvenience, collecting opinions, and establishing rules. Merchants legally participated in the core legislative process. Although their individual names are not recorded, their views directly determined the abolition, enforcement, severity, or leniency of laws, far from formalistic consultation.